The consistency you get with the Eureka golf swing is purely because you've moved the axis of your body, so your sternum and your head slightly ahead of the golf ball at impact. That's giving you your flat left wrist. That's where you're getting your ball turf strike. So that motion of the hips being open and everything open up to the golf ball, which is, I've had old guys who have never turned through the shot in their life are now able to turn through the golf shot, and they can sustain that compression for longer. So they get the club face squarer to target for longer, and dispersions come way in. They've gained distance as well because strike's pure. They're now getting the ball turf strike, so therefore distance is up and dispersions brought in.
Golf Smarter, number 716. The Eureka golf swing may be your aha moment to consistency with YouTube star Steve Johnston.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome to the Golf Smarter podcast, Steve.
Hey, Fred, how are you?
I'm fine. Where am I calling to you today? Where are you?
I'm in Scotland. I'm in a little town called Peebles, which is in the Scottish borders, just south of Edinburgh, about 30 minutes drive south of Edinburgh.
How's the weather today?
Weather's fine.
Every day.
Well, it's very autumnal now, to be honest with you. We are in the fall, as you guys say, and golf season is coming to an end. But it's my job to try and keep golfers golfing all winter, so that's my mission at this time of year.
Well, that's an interesting mission. And what happens when the golf season comes to an end in Peebles? People go indoors to practice. How does that work for you?
We still golf competitively on Saturdays. We still have our club competitions, if you like, on a Saturday, generally in Scotland. But there's a lot less footfall during the season. We're busy with visitors. We've got a lot of guests that come to the golf course. But certainly we do see that drop off towards mid to end of October. So November through to March, it's a much quieter period, but we still retain our membership, keep them golfing on a Saturday, which is good.
Oh, and is it a private golf course?
It's not a private golf course, no, but we do have it's a members golf club. So we have almost 800 members at the club. 400 that are actively golfing, if you like. So there's all different sort of golf categories, junior membership, social membership, all different levels. But we try and keep as many golfing as we possibly can at this time of year, which is a challenge that we're all faced with.
Yeah, I bet. And so there's no golf during the week in those winter
well, there is golf. Yes, there is golf, but the golf clientele, if you like, tend to just play at the weekends. Our daylight's limited. It gets dark about 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's cold.
Oh, really? That early?
Yeah, when the clocks go back at the end of this month, it'll be 3:30 when it's dark, yeah. So
and the sun, and it starts, sun comes up at what time? I mean,
about 8:30.
We don't get a lot of sunlight.
So we don't at that time of year, no, over November, December, January, February. So people kind of put their clubs away. We've got a lot of golfers who just play during the summer. But I try my best, as I say, to try and get everyone golfing 12 months.
I'm curious, for you, do I have a real thick accent?
I think your accent's okay. Do I have a really thick accent?
For me, you do.
Yeah,
I love it.
Can you understand it?
I can. I have to really pay attention.
Okay. Shall I talk slower?
Huh?
Shall I talk a little bit slower so you can understand? Or is it okay?
Can you?
I think I can.
I don't know. We have limited time here. You shouldn't do that. I'm just curious what a California accent sounds like. Someone to Scotland is like, is it thick? Can you understand me? I don't understand. What is it?
I understand you perfectly well. I watch so much of the Golf Channel, and YouTube stuff as well. So I hear American accents all the time. And yours, it's just like you're a neighbour. It's not a problem at all.
Awesome. Well, let's stay inside, neighbor, because we got some talking to do about golf. You have a successful YouTube channel. Congratulations. Many subscribers, many views. People are definitely fascinated by the Eureka golf swing. You call it Eureka, which is a name here in California we like. First of all, where did you come up with the name Eureka? Why did you use that for the swing?
The Eureka golf swing, the name came from, it was a day at the golf range with my son about 3 years ago. And I was looking for a way of getting somebody to be able to play golf more consistently. because every time I coach golf, which I've coached for 19 years now, the word I hear almost every lesson is consistency. And every golfer wants consistency. So I was thinking, okay, how can I, from everything I've done in golf, through my PGA training, through my golfing machine training, how can I create some form of consistency for every golfer? And I was at the range with my son, and I played around with stance and ball position. I was trying to get a few imperatives into the golf swing to make sure they were there every time to create this consistency. And I had a little Eureka moment, and I thought, that is what it has to be called. This concept has to be called Eureka golf swing. It was a light bulb moment. It's fantastic, fascinating.
Yes, that's a perfect name for it. Just because of that. You mentioned Homer Kelly's golf machine. It's come up in the past, and it's really, I don't want to use the word esoteric, but a lot of people are unfamiliar with Homer Kelly. Tell me what your relationship and why it appeals to you.
I like this. So Homer Kelly's golf machine, as you probably guys know, it's the physics and geometry behind the golf swing. He spent years and years studying this. And I did 2 years studying it as well through my golf/engineer bachelor's from a guy called Joe Daniels, who taught it down in London. So I did 2 years coaching with that. And basically, Homer Kelly's got 3 imperatives of the golf swing: a flat left wrist, a straight plane line, and sustained compression or sustained lag. And I was thinking, to get this consistency, you must have a flat left wrist and be able to control low point. So it was those parts of Homer Kelly's golf machine that I drew on, understood you had to have those 2 at least in place to become consistent. And that's where it all evolved from for me, the Eureka golf swing. So my relationship with Homer Kelly, there's no relationship obviously, but I've studied the GACB golf/engineer bachelor for 2 years to become qualified instructor of the golfing machine.
And it's very technical.
It's very, very technical, and a lot of my YouTube videos are based on the golf machine, but I break them all down into much less technical golfing terms, if you like, so your average man can stand there and try this, that, and the other, and not even realise that they're adopting golf machine motions.
For the average golfer, is it too technical? Can it be too technical for the weekend golfer who's like just out for having fun?
Yeah, I think it can be too technical. If you open the book, I think you start at chapter 2, then move to chapter 12, back to chapter 3. So that's technical. And the terminologies and the way it's written and the pictures, and it's very, very hard to follow. You go in the course, it's explained to you much better. And then for me to try and interpret that, to make that easy, is a hard job. But I think I've done a decent effort at that to try and make it as simple as possible for your average golfer. So it is technical, but if they go through a right coach and the right channel, they can learn from that. Absolutely.
Isn't Bryson DeChambeau one of his disciples, a Homer Kelly disciple?
Bryson studied that manual like a madman, I think. Yeah, he's taken that manual to bed and had a right good read at it. And all his golf evolved from that. He's a one-plane guy, Homer Kelly, golf machinist. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, one plane, one length irons, doesn't he still play one length irons? He
does, that's right. One length and one lie angle. So 7 iron length, 7 iron lie angle, which I dabbled with. I took a set of Cobra 1 length irons, tried them out in TrackMan, got on well with the long irons, really struggled with the short irons because of the length of the club. My 9 iron, for example, downwind would fly forever, just because it's the length of a 7 iron and the club head speed of a 7 iron, so I couldn't control that distance. But then when I used the longer irons, so 3, 4, 5 iron and 6 iron, I managed well, and the gapping was perfect between each club. So I have my irons now at 4 iron, 5 iron, 6 iron, all the same length and same lie angle as 6 iron, and then I step them down 7, 8, 9 wedge. So I've got a half Bryson set and a half average set.
Steve Johnston set.
Eureka set.
It's a Eureka set. Yeah, you don't put your name on it. It fascinates me. Why is it you think that Bryson seems to be the only one that we see on a regular basis on the PGA Tour? And I hate using PGA Tour players as examples of what we're doing. but why isn't it more have greater adoption among professional players, do you think?
I don't know if professional players really have the time to go into that. I think Bryson probably started that off at a very young age, and from there he's adopted it. So he's known that from day one, continued with that, and he's got to the level he's at using that technology or that system, if you like. For somebody now who's been coached golf to the age of 12, 13, 14, and they'd be given the golf machine manual to start from scratch from there would be very hard. And I guess Bryson, the way he thinks about the golf swing, he's obviously very technically minded, and he can take elements of each part and he can break it down, and he can create the golf swing from different components, whereas that would be hard for somebody who's not done that from day one. I think that's probably the main case. There is good parts of the golf machine that every golfer has, that flat left wrist and that low point control, which a good coach would teach you, but that's not necessarily golf machine, but it's an element of it, definitely.
I get it. Well, the flat left wrist is what definitely sucked me in when I started looking at your stuff, because It's been a classic issue of mine of having a left wrist that is at a 90-degree angle when I'm up at the top of my swing. And so once I started feeling that and realizing it's like, oh, we've got some problems that we have to work on. So we're going to talk about that more right after this. And before we get to that flat left wrist, I'm just curious, who are your golf instruction heroes? Where did you come up from?
Golf instruction heroes. Wow. Golf instruction hero. John Jacobs, he was a big thing with the PGA in Britain. Obviously passed away now, but his instruction was very, very good. Homer Kelly's very, very good. An idol or somebody I really looked up to was Seve. I liked the way Seve could play the game. Seve, he could make something out of nothing. He would put himself in a position that to anybody else is just, we make bogey from here and we accept bogey, but Seve had that ability to go, that there's actually a chance of birdie from here. And to look up to that, and when I was younger, I practiced so much short game and almost neglected the long game, to the fact that I thought, if I can miss a fairway, miss a green, I can still get up and down like Seve did. So that's kind of what drove me. I was taught when I was younger by a guy called Jimmy Hume at Gullen Golf Club. Gullen has the Scottish Open now on the European Tour. He was very good, and he taught me a lot. And probably the most important thing he taught me was, he said to me in his best Scottish accent, he was an older chap, he said, "Do you know, son, if you can't find it, you can't hit it." And I've always taken that away with me, thinking if I can't find that golf ball, there's no way I can hit it. So then he taught me how to hit a fairway. Then he taught me how to hit a green. So I understand that. I've always taken that away, thinking if I can't find the golf ball, I can't hit the golf ball.
And my favorite one is, never follow a bad shot with a stupid shot.
That's fantastic. That's good advice. That's very good advice.
I got that from a listener, actually. Of all the interviews, I was with a listener, and he said, this is what my dad used to teach me. It's like, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
It's truth. It's class.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. What is your history with the game? You sounded like you started when you were very young. Is it just part of your family? Is it part of Scottish culture? Yeah,
my dad was a good golfer. My grandfather was a very good golfer. I got to handicap of, what was I? I was 1 when I was 17. Which is not not super low. There's kids nowadays that are obviously a lot lower than that at that level, at that age. I then went to Musselburgh Golf Club and did my PGA training. Did that for 3 years there. Moved through from there to a golf course called Cardrona Golf Course, which is just down the road from Peebles, actually. I went there for 3 years and finished my training there to experience corporate golf. And then from there, I went to the Roxburgh Golf Course for 8 years and worked for the Duke of Roxburgh. He built a golf course in his back garden, basically.
Oh, go on.
Unbelievable. So the Duke of Roxburgh, who sadly passed away just a couple of months ago, he had
to go to the funeral.
I couldn't make it. I unfortunately couldn't make it. So he built a golf course basically in his back garden, Par 72 Championship course, has European Tour Q School there, fantastic facility. I was fortunate enough to work there for him for 8 years, played a few holes with him, and that's when I started studying the golf machine. And that also gave me an opportunity to work with Bunker magazine when I was there as part of their coaching panel on their coaching panel. Yep. And then moved to Peebles Golf Club, been the head pro there for 5 years now. And since then, we have started a YouTube channel, and I have created Eureka Golf Swing. So it's been a bit of a journey from Musselburgh, doing the training, PGA, corporate, then golf machine, then Bunker magazine, and now we're at Peebles Golf Club as head pro there. So it's been a journey.
It has been. It's a fascinating journey, and I'm sure you've had thousands of people that you've helped with their golf swing over these years.
Well, it's been 19 years. It's a 19-year journey, and 3 years ago came up with Eureka Golf Swing. So 16 years of coaching to realise that we need to get consistency or find a way to get that consistency in the game, which is when Eureka kicked in 3 years ago. But I've coached, I coach so much golf, and run the business and do the YouTube. It's just my wife's not too happy.
And how often do you get to play golf?
I don't play much golf at all. No, I don't.
That is the biggest. That's the biggest thing I hear so often of young men who start playing as a kid, love the game, just want to be part of it their whole lives.
That's right.
And it's like end up teaching and not getting to play anymore.
That's right. Absolutely. That is it. The YouTube channel keeps me playing golf. So I can go out and play 3 or 4 holes to make a video, which actually gets me on the golf course. So if I do that 3 or 4 times a week, I've almost racked up around the golf.
Wow.
But it's sad.
And the YouTube channel is Eureka Golf Swing, or it's Steve Johnston?
It's Steve Johnston PGA. And,
is the YouTube channel. But the
YouTube
website is eurekagolfswing.com.
That's correct, yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So of all those thousands of people that you've worked with, that we're just assuming over those 16 years before you came up with Eureka, of all those thousands of people, what's the difference of working with a Duke? I mean, can you tell him he's wrong? I mean, how do you approach teaching a Duke? Loyalty.
He was the boss.
No
kidding. Oh, absolutely.
It was his house you were working at.
That was in his garden. Yeah. He would come into the shop and he would be in charge, and he would let you know he's in charge. But then, because he was a golfer, and he was a very good golfer, his handicap was 6. And when you were coaching him, he had a lot of respect for you, because in that position, you were then in charge, because he was coming to you for your services. So he was a very different person when you were coaching him golf. So from being the boss man and the man in charge and telling you make sure that buggy's clean and sort this pro shop out, all of a sudden he would take on board your point of view, what you were telling him. You were in charge of the situation, and I had a lot of respect for him because of that. You could see him change as a person. He became a golfer. Rather than being your boss, he became a golfer. And you could tell him if he hit a poor shot. You could tell him in whatever words you wanted, and he would accept that.
So you said there's a Q school that goes on in his garden. Mm-hmm. But you've mentioned clubhouse. Is it open to the public? Can people come in, or is it? Oh,
yeah, it is. So it's.
I thought it was just as like he has a clubhouse with all of his merchandise in there with his name on it, and nobody can come in except him.
He has. He stays in Fleurs Castle, or he stayed in Fleurs Castle, which is near Kelso in Scotland, and then he had a hotel, and the land around the hotel, he built a golf course on that. And he made it par 72 championship course and opened it to the public. When it opened, Faldo, Montgomery, Garcia, Parnevik, a few other celebrities came to open it, and they had an open day. And since then, I think they had the Scottish Seniors Open there for 7 or 8 years before I was there. And then they had European Tour Q School. And it's still going strong. Head pro there's Craig Montgomery. I worked with Craig. Craig was at Royal Troon before he came to Roxburgh. So the Duke drafted in some good guys. Some good guys. Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
He knows talent.
He knows talent. But he was,
and he can afford it.
Well, absolutely. That helps. When you own the land to begin with, it's easy to build a course on.
Yeah, exactly. Put that there and put this putting green in my bedroom. Put it in my bathroom so I can practice putting while I'm on the.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. Amazing. All right, another quick timeout. We'll come back, and then we're going to talk about Eureka Golf Swing. as promised, Eureka golf swing. One of the lines that jumped out at me on your website: play the game with an understanding of what is being achieved. Mm-hmm. Explain that for me. That really caught my eye, and I want to know more about it.
So playing the game, yeah. So I believe that every golfer has a level of ability, and it's the golf coach's job to enhance that ability, not to necessarily change them. But what's been achieved is every shot has a purpose. So there's so many people golf and they hit the ball to get to there. And there's no real purpose behind it. There's no real vision as to what's going on. So even in practice, I'd much rather see somebody with a basket of 50 balls and hit 20 really well and then just leave them, because they've hit 20 shots with a purpose. Performance is good. Just leave the other 30 balls and job done, rather than just for the sake of it hit those last 30 balls with no real purpose and no real vision and no real goal, and leave the range not depressed, but performance deteriorated because they had to hit them because they were there. So that quote on the website is for me, is every shot has a purpose. And once the player understands that and adopts that, golf becomes easier. There's a focus, there's a vision.
What I don't understand is when people on the driving range, like on their warm-up round, before their round, they're warming up, that they have a good shot and they go, oh, I don't want to do too many of those. I want to lose them before the round, so I'm done. Like, really? You did one in a row and you think you've got it nailed for the day?
That's right.
It's like, I don't get that.
No, it's crazy. I see that a lot. I see people practicing, and when you've got more than one golf ball there, they'll hit a shot. Let's say they've sliced 3 balls, and they'll take the 4th ball over and they'll play an anti-slice ball. So there's some form of hook motion, which gets it going almost straight, and they'll walk away after that shot saying, that's me, I've sussed it, perfect. Then they'll stand on their first tee and they'll just hook it because they've played the hook shot before they went there. Right. So that's not good practice at all. So as I say, every shot has a purpose, and just take a good half hour to hit those 20 balls and make them realistic. Absolutely.
Yeah, Lynn Marriott and Pia Nilsson from Vision 54, who I'll be talking with in the next couple of weeks. Yep. Their book, Every Shot Must Have a Purpose.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I have read that a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. There's a reason behind the reason you're hitting that shot. There is a purpose behind it. So what is it? Address that first. So I have to get the ball from there to there. How am I going to get it to there? What is the purpose of this shot? Then execute. It's not just a case of big wide open fairway anywhere will do. That's not acceptable.
All right, let's get into it. Left wrist. What's the importance of the left wrist? Why does it need to be flat? And how do we keep it there? I've asked 3 questions. It's your soapbox, my friend. Take over.
Okay, so Eureka golf swing. Flat left wrist being the imperative of the golf swing. I came across this by tinkering about, to be honest with you. I found that to get consistency, we need to... standing square on, let's just say standing with your feet square parallel to your ball to target line. If things go wrong, there's too many variations. So you start moving your feet left, you start moving your feet right to try and get this correct ball strike. So I found, having watched Bubba Watson hits his tee shot on the 10th hole into the rough, into the trees on the right before he does the big hook onto the green and win the Masters. So he's in there and he aims the opposite way you would for a draw, although he's playing a big hook. And I'm standing there thinking, let's imagine he's right-handed to make this easy. So he's aiming left with his feet and hits a big hook if he was right-handed. And I was thinking, every PGA manual, everything I've read is everything has to aim to the right, face close to the path to hit a draw. Yet he's got his feet miles left and hits this big slinging hook. So I was thinking, I wonder how that is. Then I was thinking of Ian Poulter. Poulter aims right and comes over the top and hits the ball straight. So I was like, there's no right or wrong there. There's nothing, no one has a clue what's going on. So I started aiming left. The reason I started aiming left was because a lot of people with lack of consistency can't control the low point of the club head. So if I aimed left, my hips would be open to my intended target. From the top of my swing, if I slide towards target, my hips will naturally open. So my body then opens up to my feet line. From there, the back of the left hand obeys the target line, which gives you forward shaft lean, left wrist nice and flat, and then the path of the club naturally moves into out for a draw. So all that came from the feet being slightly open. So the body's turning through, obeying the feet line. The back of the left wrist is parallel to your target line, and the club paths into out to get a nice draw. So therefore, I've moved the axis of my body ahead of the golf ball, assuming the ball's on the ground, ahead of the golf ball at impact, left wrist's flat, the shaft's leaning forward, and my body's opened up to target. And all I've done there from the top of my swing is slide towards my intended target. And the feet being so far open has naturally opened the body up. That's the Eureka concept. So it's more of a lateral rotation of the hips through impact. Does that make sense? I mean, if I stood there if I stand square to target and my hips are square to target and I swing and I slide myself towards target, I'm going to slide the hips ahead of the golf ball and the face is going to be miles open. If I have my hips at 45 degrees with my feet and then from the top I slide towards target, they laterally rotate open. So therefore my body opens up, path moves into out, and I get my flat left wrist. Therefore the low point of the swing arc becomes post-impact instead of pre-impact. Bobby Clampett wrote about that in I think it was the Impact Zone, Bobby Clampett's book. And he reckons that every golfer, I think tour players, their low point of their swing arc was 4 inches post-impact, 4 inches ahead of the golf ball. And a scratch golfer was about a centimetre behind the golf ball. So he reckons if you can move low point, the further ahead of the golf ball you can move your low point, then the lower your handicap will be because strike becomes more consistent. Mm-hmm. So with the Eureka golf swing, getting your centre of mass to move ahead of the golf ball, you can get ball, turf, strike a lot easier. So therefore you're sustaining the line of compression between ball onto face to target for longer. So it's easier to keep that face nice and square towards your intended target. There's no flipping goes on. There's no open face going on. There's a nice path into out with a face that's obeying the target for longer, sustaining that line of compression. That's quite hard to follow.
Well, yeah. It's good that you have a YouTube channel. Then you can see, you can get a better sense. And then I noticed that you have the aiming sticks. You put them out as looking kind of like a W.
That's right.
At the base point, and they fan out like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What are you doing with that? I didn't understand that.
Yeah. So the middle stick was square to my target line. So my shoulders are square to that address. The green stick, or the stick closest to the player, is my feet line. And the stick to the right is the path of the club head. So once I've set myself up, my feet are open, my shoulders are square, my club face is open, and the path of the club's going to be into out, obeying the top cane. So I follow these canes. These canes are put in a place specifically. It's all on the website. They're measured out at correct angles that I can take the club back, tracing one cane. And then through impact, my body's moved ahead of the tip of the canes. So my body's opened up to the feet line. The back of the left hand's obeyed the middle cane, and my path is a top cane, into out path. So I get that draw every time. Every time low point's moved ahead of the golf ball. So that compression's always there.
Wow. That's powerful.
It's a hard one to visualize. The YouTube channel shows it all. The website shows it all. I had so many people on the YouTube channel contact me saying, right, I need to know more, I need to know more. And it was quite bitty, the YouTube channel. And I dabbled with this video and that video and this video, all about Eureka. And that's where the website came from. I was thinking this needs to be put into context where people can see it from address position, setting up these canes, address position, takeaway, halfway back, top of swing, and so on. So when you go to the website, it's all on there in the Iron Swing series, that the 10 videos, which is 60 minutes worth of videos, are the 10 measurable positions of the golf swing, if you like. So it's much easier to follow. So there's like 6-minute video on this, 6-minute video on the next piece, 6-minute video on the next piece. So you can build the swing by watching the videos, which makes it very, very simple. Whereas before, as I mentioned on the YouTube channel, it was just a bit bitty because there was a lot of experimenting going on to begin with. There's also on that Iron Swing series, there is a couple of videos on faults and fixes. So if you are losing it too far to the right, losing it to the left, there's videos on that, how to fix that, and also a video on how I practice Eureka golf swing and how I actually practice it on the range to improve my ball striking, which is an extreme Eureka motion So actually on that video, my feet are further left than the cane is to ensure the body gets through in the low point, and then you tone it back down.
When you're working one-on-one with somebody and introducing them to the Eureka golf swing,
yep.
How easy is it, have you found, for them to grasp? And I'm sure that that's how you fine-tune that, by working one-on-one with somebody. It's harder to do that with YouTube, obviously.
Yep.
So when you're working with somebody one-on-one, how easy is it to grasp what you're trying to do? And then once they get it and they leave, can they stay with it? Is it easy for them to stay with it?
Absolutely. Once the canes are in place and it's all explained at the time of giving the lesson, the picture's painted very, very well. So it's all on the ground, and it's like putting a mat on the floor, those three canes, and they can adhere to that cane, and that cane, and they understand exactly how it's working. And then they take it away, they take their canes away, and they've got that visual all the time. And then in the videos on the golf swing on the website, it shows you how to adopt it without the canes. So there's a bit of muscle memory going in there. But certainly I've had somebody from Australia come over and see me, somebody from France, 2 guys from Sweden, all over the UK, England obviously, coming up to see me for Eureka golf lessons. And it was that demand, and people asking for me to give them online lessons as well, which I just don't have the time for. That's where the website came from as well. So I thought, I have to get a platform here for people to access it. And then if they want more, come and see me. And it's been great. Quite a lot of members at Peebles Golf Club have adopted it as well. And they're always in the shop throwing their canes on the floor saying, Steve, what's this? What's that? How can I? Which is
as soon as they walk through the door and they've got the canes, you go, okay, here we go.
That's right. Exactly. They walk in. If somebody walks in with 3 canes, I'm over there. So it is. It's an easy one to explain. I think the videos explain it very, very well. I'm glad I've done that and put it across in that format, that easy to follow video 1, video 2, video 3. And they're so short that you can move on. You just watch it on your phone. You can watch every step of it on your phone as you're at the range. And obviously with the guidance of myself, if I'm there, it's going to make life a lot quicker. But certainly the website, the videos in there, it make it very, very easy to follow. Yep.
The word consistency gets tossed around all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Every single instructor has people come in, they say they want 3 things. They want consistency, they want more distance, right?
Yep.
And less putts. Improve their short game. Everybody wants the same thing.
That's right.
But how do you define, with the Eureka golf method, how do you define consistency? What is the consistency that we're getting out of it?
The consistency you get with the Eureka golf swing is purely because you've moved the axis of your body, so your sternum and your head slightly ahead of the golf ball at impact. That's giving you your flat left wrist. That's where you're getting your ball turf strike. So that motion of the hips being open and everything open up to the golf ball, which is, I've had old guys who have never turned through the shot in their life are now able to turn through the golf shot, and they sustain that compression for longer, so they get the club face squarer to target for longer, and dispersions come way in. They've gained distance as well because strike's pure. They're no longer hitting Bobby Clampett's 12 handicap or 2 inch behind the golf ball or whatever his stat is. They're now getting the ball turf strike, so therefore distance is up and dispersions brought in, so that they're getting. I mean, that's a win for me. People come back to me, they come in the shop after the round of golf saying, Steve, it took me a wee while to get this, but now I've really got the hang of this. This is fantastic. And the feedback I've had on the website as well, and through all my comments on my videos on YouTube, are absolutely fantastic. I think there's been, in fact, I could count in one hand the number of negative comments I've had about it, which is fantastic. Wow. And it's brilliant. Great. It really is That's good. I'm a happy man.
Yeah. No, I really had no trouble following what you said, but when you just did an interpretation of somebody coming in the pro shop and repeating what they said, I had no idea what you said, and I was reading the subtitles below your face. I don't know what they meant.
I can't even remember what I said.
It doesn't matter. I can't repeat it. Anyway, again, it's Steve Johnston, PGA, right? Johnston. Johnston.
That's correct.
Steve Johnston PGA is the YouTube channel.
Yep.
And EurekaGolfSwing.com is the website.
That's correct. Yes. That's it.
Paul Cervantes turned me on to you, man, and he always has phenomenal recommendations, and he scores again. Fantastic. Steve, thanks so much for spending your time with us. This has been great. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Fred.
There's still plenty of time for you to register to win the all-access pass to the Gravity Golf Challenge, courtesy of Danny and David Lee at gravitygolf.com. The all-access pass includes all 3 stages featuring 48 progressive lessons, and it's valued at $500. Enter as often as you like because we accept all entries, and deadline to enter is Sunday, December 1, 2019, midnight Pacific Time, 3 a.m. Eastern. To enter, go to golfsmarter.com and click on the giveaway banner at the top of the homepage. And this week on Golf Smarter Mulligans, brought to you by twoguyswithgolfballs.com and autoslash.com, is a great conversation with Tracy Reed. Now, does this sound familiar to you? You've been playing golf most of your life. At some points you've played well, and others you've played really well. But then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, your swing has completely disappeared and you have no idea why. That's what we tackle on episode 32 of Golf Smarter Mulligans, a free weekly podcast from the unavailable archives of Golf Smarter. Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans are available now for free wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please click on the Hey Fred button at golfsmarter.com.